Okay, Shalom, Shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholoyim La Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Rachachadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth, and just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akhwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawach. Just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And copyright disclaimer, I want to play well, actually it's a news article, but still, for the sake of a copyright strike, I just want to just read the copyright disclaimer. It says, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing, nonprofit, education, and personal use. Tips to balance in favor of fair use, right? So let's go to this. It's a video of this young man, and he's a third grader, and he was just, I guess, inducted into Mensa. And we can get what Mensa is, but it's supposedly be, the place for the smart people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna play the little local 4 news clip. I seen this when I was at the gym earlier. I had seen it yesterday too, but I didn't really get into it. But as I was on the treadmill in front of the TV, it popped up on the news, and this Edomite was sitting directly under the TV on another machine, so he couldn't see it like how I seen it. And so as they're speaking, I can see he popped up and he looks at the TV, and of course, his look of disappointment when he seen that it was a Jake. I could just tell from his spirit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he seen me looking, so he couldn't just kind of like just walk away like how he probably would have wanted to. But because I just kind of just looked down myself back at, my because I kind of read the scriptures while I'm on the treadmill as well. You know what I'm saying? So go through a little studying. But I looked up and looked at it, and then I just wanted, the Spirit hit me to just do a quick lesson on it, because these types of smarts are not going to get you into heaven, so to speak, or not into the kingdom of heaven. You can be as smart as you want to be. That shit don't make no difference to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is the one that created the mind. He the one that gave you your intelligence. You know what I'm saying? But see, you'll have a person that's in most of these people that's in Mensa, they don't believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. They don't believe in a God. I'll put it that way. A lot of them are atheists. They believe in their science. They believe in all this bullshit. And they go with their smarts. So I'm gonna pull up a few scriptures on that. And we can kind of see who created this shit, which is an Edomite. I think it was created in the 1940s. And then they have Jake at a disadvantage anyway. Because one thing I will say about this young man, he did have both the parents in the home, from my understanding. When Jake got a good fair ground to work with, and some dedicated parents, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Then Jake can turn out all right as far as at least the school system. Like, Esau's school system is not nothing spectacularly crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is really simple, because it's just really simple shit. But when it comes to the scriptures, it's the scriptures that you should be trying to be smart about, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? You should be, because that wisdom, you can, like I said again, you can be as smart as you want to be. I don't give a fuck. You can be fucking whoever the hell, Isaac Newton, whoever you consider to be smart. You know what I'm saying? That shit makes no difference to the Lord. These people he's gonna be destroyed right along with his parents, man. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be destroyed if they don't know about Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It just is what it is, man. So let's play the video. We can see, I'm not knocking the little man's, because we already know Jake is intelligent anyway. It's just that Esau tries to make it seem as if we're not. He places Jake on a, in these positions where he can't prosper or stand out, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because Jake, even in our lowest, man, we're above these Edomites. We're above these so-called Chinese. We're above these so-called East Indians. That supposedly they're the minds of the world these days. They're the ones with the computers. They're the ones that's, supposedly creating in reality, when you look at all the so-called black inventors, all the shit that Esau is using and claiming that he done is from us anyway. So let's just play the video though. It's a lot.
He's doing a whole lot more than just making the grade. Tonight, we are introducing you to a special third grader who's become a member of a very elite club. 8-year-old Myles Dantzler has just accomplished something most adults never will: acceptance into Mensa, the world's most prestigious high IQ society.
Yeah, this young man taught himself how to read at just 3 years old and scored in the top 2% of IQ tests worldwide. Our Maya Kaznicki visited Myles at school today, where his achievements are making his parents and the whole community pretty proud.
Myles spends his days here at Bates Academy in Detroit, but when he's at home, he's watching educational videos on YouTube, trying to learn more. He's interested in everything from dinosaurs to geography.
There's an underwater country called Zealandia. It's actually the 8th continent.
That's just one of Myles Dantzler's many.
See what that? See, that's some shit that he got from Esau. There's no 8th continent, and there's not even 7, because now if he was really smart, he would know that it's only 6, because Europe is not a continent. Europe sits in Asia. What about that? See, so everything that he knows and everything that he's parroting or regurgitating, it comes from Esau. It comes from the so-called white man. He has learned the so-called white man's so-called wisdom, and this is what he's running with. Let's play some more.
Fun facts. At a young age, his mom and dad could tell he was gifted. He would ask questions and learn things faster than most kids his age.
I want to stay.
When he started reading words that I couldn't read or correcting me when I was reading books to him, I was like, okay, this is it.
After applying, his sharp mind landed him a spot at Mensa, the high IQ society, at just 8 years old.
I got one of the highest scores on the IQ test. It makes me really proud of myself.
Being a part of Mensa means he'll get to challenge his mind and connect with others who share similar interests.
When you guys saw that acceptance letter to Mensa, I mean, what was your initial reaction?
Was I shocked? No. If anybody deserved it, absolutely, because you know what? It was well-earned and well-deserved.
Yeah. This gives him a lot of, opportunities to really stretch his intellect and that IQ.
His teachers say it's even inspired other students to work harder and aim higher.
I think they're really excited. A couple of them were asking, like, what does it mean and how can I do it? And, I want to do that as well.
But when you set aside Myles' smarts...
I mean, he's a normal 8-year-old. He likes to play video games, play with his toys, play with his siblings, and he's just, a kind-hearted, great kid all around.
Myles has already done activities with Mensa, and he plans to do many more. In Detroit, Amaya Kaznicki, Local 4.
And congratulations, Myles. Mensa says they're excited to welcome Myles and his family into society. In a statement, it says, "Gifted youth represent our largest segment of new members. American Mensa understands their challenges and their tremendous potential, providing a host of resources and supportive community."
Okay. And again, too, no matter how smart he is, he's still under those curses. Those smarts are not going to get him from under the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. He's still going to be a nigga. To the very people that's saying that he's smart. He's still going to be treated like, you know what I'm saying? Some Jake can kind of smooth along through a little bit better, but still they're under those curses. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, man. That's not, them smarts are not going to save him. Now, did his mom and his daddy teach him some Bible scriptures? Because that's what they should have been teaching him. Because what is the scripture? The scripture's about training up a child in the way it should go. I'm not saying that, he should not be doing his homework and shit. Of course, he should be doing all that. And you should be, on your children about doing well in school. That's a given. This is Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. Right? Now, part of his little schooling, that could play into this, but the real teaching is these scriptures. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me see something. This should be that precept probably should be right here. Let me see. Is it Deuteronomy 6 and 7? I know it's in the law. We're supposed to teach our children these law, statutes, and commandments daily throughout the day. This is supposed to be our overall hookup, man. Yeah, let me see. Yep, this is it. I think this is it. Yeah, 6. Deuteronomy 6, and let me start at verse 6. All these words, matter of fact, let me read it in the Amplified. Deuteronomy 6 and 6. These words which I am commanding you today shall be written on your heart and mind. You shall teach them diligently to your children, see, impressing God's precepts on their minds and penetrating their hearts with his truths, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk on the road, and when you lie down, and when you get up, see. And you shall bind them as a sign on your hand, forearm, and they shall be used as bands, frontals or frontlets, on your forehead. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. But basically, the point is that this is what he should be. If he's gonna be so-called bragging or proud about anything, it should be about. Matter of fact, there's a scripture that talks about that. You know, if you're gonna glory, it should be about Yahweh Bashim Shai. He should know these scriptures. See, this is what they should be proud of him, knowing the ways of Yahweh Bashim Shai, man. Let me see what else we got in here. Okay, yep. I could have started up on that. Deuteronomy 6 and 2. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's sons, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. This is what you should, the children should be learning, the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Shai. I think it was President Eisenhower, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on it, but he said something to the extent that a proper education, you're more educated knowing the scriptures than you would ever be knowing Esau's regular academics, man, and that's true. Okay, let me see. Deuteronomy 4 and 9. Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons, see? Especially the day that thou stoodest before the Lord thy God in Horeb, when the Lord said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. You think his parents done that? I doubt it, but who knows? But I doubt it, you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to go straight with I doubt it. Deuteronomy 11 and 19. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them, when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. Now that's a repeat of what we read in Deuteronomy 6 and 6 and verse 7. Because the Lord, he's repetitive, because he wants you to really know these scriptures. And it may seem repetitive and simple, but these simple scriptures are better than anything that guy could ever learn in Esau's academic school, man. It just straight up. It just is what it is, man. Right? So, let's see what this Mensa shit is. Let's just go into that real fast. I'll have the copyright disclaimer up. Let me go back in here. Let's see what it is, where it come from. Mensa meaning, right? Let's see. So it's basically Mensa, the world's oldest, largest, high IQ society, and international nonprofit organization for individuals who score in the top 2% of the general population on an accepted standardized intelligence test, founded in 1946. And this was a time when niggas was definitely thought to be monkeys for real, And matter of fact, these are the very same people. I think they probably more than likely believe in evolution and Big Bang Theory and all that stupid ass shit. Okay, it says it serves as a social, intellectual, and networking platform for members to engage in, with over 50,000 members in the U.S. alone. Okay. Membership qualifications. The sole requirement is qualifying a score on an approval proctored IQ test, 98th percentile or higher. Purpose. The organization seeks to identify and foster human intelligence for the benefit of humanity, encourage research in the nature of intelligence, and provide a stimulating social environment. Well, that's, if you fucking study the scriptures, the scriptures it can teach you life, man. The scriptures is where it's at. Here you go. You got these smart ass people that's out here killing, stealing, destroying, breaking all the commandments. But they're so damn smart. You don't think that you should be pushing the law of not committing adultery? You don't think that you should be pushing the law of not eating shrimp, crab, and lobster and all these different foods that'll kill your ass? You don't think that, you know what I'm saying? It's simple. But this comes with pride, setting themselves up on that pedestal. You know what I'm saying? As if they're just and you can see how Esau's running the planet. Look at the planet. Look at the state of the planet with his smarts, with his intellect. Look at a motherfucker like Bill Gates. You know, look at all these so-called smart leaders, man. Like what did they bring to the earth that was actually productive as opposed to the scriptures? Nothing. This place is a complete goddamn shithole. Straight up, man. Okay, but it says activities, members participate in local, regional, and national events. Special interest groups, all that good shit. Okay, structure is global. Okay, name, origin is derived from Latin. Mensa means table, symbolizing a round table society appears regardless of background. Yeah, right. Because in 1946, I bet you one of them niggas there. Not here in the Americas. You can probably put that in. Let me see. Let's just put in, when did the first black person enter Mensa? I bet you it wasn't none in 1946. Could have been, though. Who knows? Maybe I'm tripping. Let me see. Let me just put inducted. You know, Esau was getting smoked anyway back in the days, and with these particular types of tests, Esau he changed the game because Jake was doing better than Esau. And when mothers and fathers was actually in the homes during around the time of Martin Luther King era, those 40s, 50s, 60s, Jake was really learning. Jake, your parents was on your ass about being educated. You had the father in the house, you had a mother in the house. That makes a difference. But this smart ass man, he got rid of the father out of the home. For us anyway, but now that's them as well. Right? But you know that they done that by design. So Jake was smoking Esau's ass, man, back in the days, man. Jake was, but you give him the same textbooks, you give them the same playing field, Jake is gonna outdo you every single time. Why? Because we're the salt of the earth, right? Okay, but it says, based on the provided search results, there's no specific historical record mentioned for when the first black person was inducted in Mensa. The results focus on modern or recent, younger members, and do not provide a chronological history of the black members from organizations founded in 1946. However, the following information was provided regarding black members of Mensa. It says a 2-year-old, Kanzi Quest, was identified as one of the youngest members of the American Mensa. In 2024, 6-year-old. And like I said, you know what I'm saying? Who's coming up with the test? They got a Ghanaian American chemical engineer. Let me see. I don't know. Anyway, okay, I guess he could be a Jake. He got 14 patents, and 7 of which was awarded with the pure. Okay, all right. But anyway, yeah, Jake done came up with every damn thing that's out here anyway. Let me see. Okay, so let's see who came up with this shit. Who came up with Mensa? I've heard the apostle speak on that before. Who came up with it? There we go, right here. Look. Mensa was founded in 1946 in Oxford, England, by Australian barrister Roland Barrow and English scientist lawyer Dr. Lancelot Ware. Probably a bunch of, both of them probably fucking small tops. Trying to tell you about who can be smart. Who's smart because we said so. Crazy work, bro. And people take this shit to heart. They take this type of stuff to light, man. Okay, Barrow and Ware met at a train and discussed forming a club for gifted people. While Dr. Ware is often credited with his initial idea, Barrow provided the funding and acted as the first secretary to get the organization started. So here you go. Here, that is a bunch of bullshit. One nigga said, "Oh, I'm smart. I'd like to start a club." Another one had some money and said, "Well, hey, I'll fund it." Now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? They're the ones that setting the standards for who's so-called smart and who's not. And I bet you neither one. I bet you probably both of them are fucking atheists. Oh man, bro. Let me see. I'm gonna put in were they Jews? I want to know. And again, you know what I'm saying? See, Esau, he had all the big elaborate libraries, you know what I'm saying? All the books, you know, writing all the books and in control of all the curriculum and all this other little stuff like that, you know. And Jake just didn't have that Jake didn't have it like that. It just is what it is. But with what Jake had, and when we say Jake, we mean so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But what Jake had, Jake make it work. But when Jake, like I said again, when Jake is on the same playing field with Esau, we run in circles around their asses, man. Okay, so this one guy was Roman Catholic Jesuit school in England, and you know them bad, and they done Jake niggas bad, man. Dr. Lancelot Ware, he was an English scientist born in Surrey. While his personal religious views were described as evolving over time, there is no record of him being Jewish. But see, that this is what I'm saying. Here you go, you running around with your peanut ass brain in your head, thinking that you so goddamn smart, but you don't even know that there's a God that created everything around you. You can't even see it. It's crazy work, bro. Because when you go into, let me get Romans chapter 1, and I'm gonna grab a couple more scriptures and end out. And you just Yahweh about this out, just rolling in the spirit. But now check out what the Lord says right here. Let me see. Let me see. Where is it at? Let me start at verse 19. I'm going to read it in the Amplified. Romans 1:19. Because that which is known about Yahweh is evident within them, and their inner consciousness, for Yahweh made it evident to them. But this is basically talking about Jake, man, you know, and so-called blacks. Because like I said, that little kid, man, he won't believe, you know, if he grew up and you know got older, you know, and he would probably more likely be a damn atheist, man, because that's how these smart motherfuckers be thinking, or so-called smart, you know. Verse 20, it says, "For ever since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen." See, and that's even for you Edomites. You should be able to see and know that. Okay, well, I don't know his name, or maybe you know whatever the case may be, but you have to know that there's a God. Like, come on, bro. Like, look around you. The seasons come on time. The sun and the moon come up and go down on time. When you just think about the anatomy of your body, it's so many things. The trees, the bumblebees. It's just, how can you not know that something created that? Anyway, starting from the top again on verse 20. "For ever since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, his eternal power, and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood through his workmanship, all his creation, and the wonderful things that he has made, so that they who fail to believe and trust in him are without excuse and without defense." You don't have no excuse or no you're out, you're without excuse and defense, man, when you saying, "Oh, there ain't no God, I don't believe in no God, some invisible God in the sky." Like, okay, well, nigga, who waking you up every morning? You so damn smart. Did you really wait? If you were so damn, how can why aren't you just super, motherfucker? Why aren't you just not going to sleep? Because if the average person didn't have to go to sleep, they wouldn't. You know why they have to go to sleep? Because the Lord put their asses to sleep. And during that sleep, the Lord gives them what they're going to do. As a matter of fact, let's get that. You know, they out here with this free will. And let's get this in Job real quick. What is that, Joe? Is it 33? Salakia, bear with me. Been a minute on that one. Yep, right here. So when your ass is asleep, you so goddamn smart. You know, you thinking you can just. I'm willing to bet you if Esau can just be up all night forever, if he never had to go to sleep, because he can't go to sleep unless he's producing something wicked. So if he can just stay up and just be wicked for the rest of his life without no sleep whatsoever, he would do that. He would choose it. But guess what? The Lord putting your ass to bed, right? Job 33 and 15. It says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumbering upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. See, the Lord put your ass to sleep every day. And I'm telling you, I'm willing to bet you, if the average person, if you were to ask the average person if they could not just, if they could just have a gift of just not going to sleep, I'm willing to bet you they're going to tell you, yes, I would love that gift, because they feel I can get more done. Right? And you know, Esau, he trying to break all the barriers, man. You know what I'm saying? He trying to, you know, he has that God complex. But let's grab a couple more scriptures. Got like 3 more precepts and we'll end out. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 20. Let me see. Maybe start at 19 or so. Let me start at verse 18. Because it's entitled The Wisdom of God, the wisdom of Yahweh. Verse 18. 1 Corinthians 1 and 18. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved, it is the power of Yahweh. So if you were to speak to some of these Mensa people, they'll think that, you know, that a God is foolishness. Verse 19. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. Verse 20, where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Have not Yahweh made foolish the wisdom of this world? And after that, in the wisdom of Yahweh, the world by wisdom knew not Yahweh. See, they by your own wisdom, you just stupid. You don't even know the Lord. It pleased Yahweh by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. So we look doofy on the streets when we're out there teaching. But guess what? That's the wisdom of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's how he wanted to play out for you smart ass people. Let me read that in the Amplified. Let's see how it reads in the Amplified. 1 Corinthians 1 and 18. For the message of the cross is foolishness, absurd and logically. In Salakia. For the message of the cross is foolishness, absurd and illogical to those who are perishing and spiritually dead because they reject it. But to us who are being saved by Yahweh's grace, it is the manifestation of the power of Yahweh. Verse 19. For it is written, and forever remains written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, the philosophy of the philosophers, and the cleverness of the clever, who do not know me will nullify. Ooh. Where is the wise man, philosopher? Where is the scribe, scholar? Where is the debater, logician, orator of this age? Has Yahweh not exposed the foolishness of this world's wisdom? For since the world through all its earthly wisdom failed to recognize Yahweh, Yahweh in his wisdom was well pleased through the foolishness of the message preached regarding salvation to save those who believe in Yahweh Shai Mashiach and welcome him as Savior. Ooh. For Jews demand signs, attesting miracles, and Greeks pursue worldly wisdom and philosophy. But we preach Yahweh Shai crucified, a message which is to Jews a stumbling block that provoke their opposition, and to Gentiles foolishness, just utter nonsense. But to those who are the called, both Jew and Greeks, which we know these are Israelites, Gentiles, Yahweh Shai is the power of Yahweh and the wisdom of Yahweh. So hey man, we're beyond these people, man, with what we know. And it's nothing to be no pride on our side, you know what I'm saying? Because matter of fact, that scripture, I'm trying to think how it was worded exactly. Let me see. Is glory? I know it's if you're gonna glory. Let me see. I can't believe it's been a while on that one for real. Some to the extent if you're gonna glory that you know. Uh, yeah, may not be able to find it, but it's something to that extent. Roughly paraphrasing. If you're gonna glory in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. No, let me see. I can't think I was worded. But you know, you get the point. Somebody could probably put it in the comment board. Yeah, I can't find it right off, but you get it. Let me jump to this next precept. Still the same book, 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 19. Oh man, let me start at verse 18. I'm gonna read that in the Amplified as well. 1 Corinthians 3 and 18 in the Amplified. Let no one deceive himself. If anyone among you thinks that he is wise in this age, let him become a fool. See that? Discarding his worldly pretensions and acknowledging his lack of wisdom, so that he may become truly wise. Because truly, you become truly wise through these scriptures, not through Esau's curriculum, man. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness, absurdity, stupidity before Yahweh. For it is written in Scripture, He is the one who catches the wise and clever in their craftiness. And again, the Lord knows the thoughts of the humanly wise, that they are useless. So let no one boast in men about their wisdom, or of having this or that one as a leader, for all things are yours. Okay. So that's pretty much the point, man. Let me get another one in Jeremiah. I think it's also in Isaiah. It's kind of worded a little differently, but let's get out with this one, Yahweh Ratazah. Jeremiah 51 and 15. And let me read that one in the Amplified. It says, He made the earth by His power. He established the world by His wisdom and stretched out the heavens by His understanding. Ooh, and that's the Lord, man. When He utters His voice, there is a tumult of waters in the heavens, and He causes the clouds to ascend from the ends of the earth. He makes lightnings for the rain and brings out the wind from His storehouses. You could read on through. But man, I mean, hey man, the Lord is the one that gives wisdom, man, and takes it away. The Lord sets up kingdom, and He sets up, the Lord does it all, man. The Lord can, and it's crazy. The Lord can really have this dude destroyed on the playground. You know what I'm saying? Like he can fall off a bike, man. He can, whatever, have an injury. You know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking that on the guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I'm talking from a standpoint of your wisdom is nothing to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because He's the one that kills and makes alive, man. He's the one that gives you the way to think, man. He's the one that keeps your brain healthy enough to even think on anything. Because the Lord can have you bugged out. He can zap you, man. The Lord can take that shit from you, man. The same way He gave it to you, He can take it from you. And have a damn straight bullet fly through the living room while he's studying a fucking book, man, of dinosaurs. Like straight up, man. See, these people don't have no fear of you. That's true wisdom, man. Matter of fact, I think what's that the scripture talks about that? Is that might be Proverbs chapter 2. I call it the blueprint. Let me see. Yep, here we go right here. Yeah, I'm gonna start at verse 5. Well, actually, you can start from the top. I mean, it's the pursuit of wisdom and the pursuit of wisdom brings security is the title on this. It says, "My son, if thou wilt," Proverbs 2:1. Salakia. "My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee." This is what you supposed to, the parents supposed to be teaching him. Not to say that he's not supposed to go to school. Of course, you got to do that, but this is what should be learned. This is what should be put ahead of Esau's bullshit ass curriculum, man. Verse 2, "So that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom, and apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and lifted up thy voice for understanding," which is basically what the little boy seems to be doing, but it should be towards these scriptures more harder. "If thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God." See, that's the true knowledge that he should be wanting. But he don't know no better if his mom and dad is not teaching him that. Verse 6, "For the Lord giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding." See that? "He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous." See, so this sound wisdom comes from these scriptures. "He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly." See, this worldly wisdom is unsound. It ain't nothing to know all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like what you know, you kind of almost better off just having damn street smarts in Esau's kingdom. Shit, you can learn all them damn big ass words. You can do all that shit you want. But if you don't know how to live out here, you don't understand that this man is your damn enemy. Come on, bro. Ridiculous. Anyway. And again, it's not to knock the little man's. I was just kind of looking like, yeah, there's a city underground, and it's the 8th continent. Like, where the fuck you learn that doofy shit from? Sound like some shit out of a Harry Potter book. But this is Esau, and you can go online and all this shit that Esau be pushing. People really be believing this stuff. Now, do we use tools? We'll use the dictionary to look up words. We use Chat GPT and other little things. But we know when, by the Spirit, we know when to filter a lot of Esau's bullshit, because Esau will shoot some bullshit your way. So, I'm going to end out there. I pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Shala and a bubble ball.